Thank you so much, Patricia. It was a pleasure meeting you too. Hello, I'm Megan Heck.
Paige Miller.
It's so great to meet you finally. I brought my resume in case you needed one to reference.
Thank you. Have a seat.
You're welcome. Thank you. Oh my gosh, is that from Italy?
It is.
My fiance and I are going to Italy for our honeymoon next year.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Are you getting married?
On December 15th.
Good.
Very excited.
Good. Awesome. So what job are we applying for today?
I'm applying for the position to work with adolescents that have special needs.
Okay. And we're going to start with a couple of questions. What is your strengths?
I believe my strengths are because I have a son with special needs that I have developed a lot of patience. And in this position, you need a lot of patience.
Right. Okay. And what would you consider a weakness?
I don't necessarily call it a weakness, but I am kind of an overachiever. And the reason why I'm an overachiever is because I have my son and I know all of the problems that he has endured in his life, and I want to make sure that every person that I encounter has the proper treatment.
Okay. And how would you, with your current boss, how would they describe you?
I know saying hardworking is kind of a cliche, but she would definitely say that about me because I always strive to do my best and I make sure that I get the job done.
Okay. And what are your boss's responsibilities?
She is the manager over everyone. She's actual store manager, and she really gets out there and works hard and makes sure that everything is run properly.
Okay. And what is your opinion of them?
She is the most hardworking woman I've ever met, and she can deal with a lot of problems. And I really appreciate that she cares about her employees.
That's good. Okay. How would your coworkers describe you professionally?
Well, I'm very friendly, and they really appreciate that I help them whenever they need help. So whenever they have a problem, they come up to me, and I give them the best help that I can.
Okay. And why do you want to work for us?
Because this is the most renowned practice in all of East Tennessee, and I've heard great things about this practice.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Okay. Why should we hire you over the other finalists?
I believe because of my personal experience with a special needs child that I can bring more to the table in this business, and I will always strive to do my best because I want to help people.
Okay. And what qualities or talents would you bring to the job?
Again, because of my experience, personal experience, I know how hard it is for families to go through what they go through when they have a special needs child. And I want to make sure that they get the best care that they can get.
And so how long have you been dealing with a special needs child?
He's 7 now, and he was diagnosed when he was 3. And I believe that because of that experience, that I have a lot to offer.
Okay. And tell me about your accomplishments.
Accomplishments in my current job or in general?
In general.
Well, I graduated college with honors, and I got my master's degree. I do community service in my town quite often, and I also had an internship with a practice that I live close to.
Okay. What is your most important contribution to your current employer?
The most important contribution, I think, would be because of the patience that I have acquired over so many years, that I'm able to work well with others and understand what they need to help better the company.
How do you perform under deadline pressure? And give me an example.
I honestly love deadlines because I love to work hard, and I will actually, this just happened about 3 weeks ago, but there was the regional manager that was coming in to visit, and my boss asked me to get parts of my area cleaned up really nicely. She gave me 3 days, and I got it done in one.
Oh, wow. Okay. How do you react to criticism?
I love criticism because you need it. People, we're growing. We don't know everything, and it's very important that someone helps redirect you into certain ways so you know that you're doing your job the best that you can.
Okay. Describe a conflict or disagreement at work in which you were involved, and how was it resolved?
At my current job, I work in retail, and we deal with a lot of customers, and they sometimes are in bad moods, and they like to take their bad moods out on everybody around. And that's unfortunate, but my job is to make them happy. There was a customer the other day that had a coupon that didn't work, and I knew how upset she was, so I talked to my boss, and I managed to give her the extra discounts, and she was very happy.
That's good. Okay, what are two of the biggest problems you've encountered at your job, and how do you overcome them?
Two of the biggest problems, I would say one of the biggest problems are whenever customers are unhappy. And you must always make people feel comfortable. Whenever someone is unhappy with a purchase or they cannot find something that they really love, then I would offer to order it for them. And if I cannot find what they're looking for through ordering, then I know the area very well. I would be able to easily find something that is compatible, and it usually makes them pretty happy.
Okay. Think of a major crisis you faced at work and explain how you've handled it.
I don't believe there's really major crises whenever you're at the workplace. Everything can be resolved, usually by talking and working things out and understanding what people need.
Okay. Give me an example of a risk that you took at your job, or present, or past, and how it turned out.
I actually just did something just like that a couple weeks ago. Our regional manager was coming in, and my boss asked me to get my area prepared. And by doing that, she handed me a planogram.
And what's a planogram?
A planogram is the flow of the area. I work in center core, so I work with handbags, accessories, jewelry, fragrance, etc. And whenever I got the planogram, I noticed that there were a few things that were off. So I fixed it the way I felt would better suit the customer's needs. And the regional manager loved it so much, he brought his HR director in just to look at it.
Wow. Okay. What is your managerial style?
I've actually been a manager before, and I love to work with my employees. I love to make sure that they get exactly what they need, and make sure that they are happy in their job, as well as making sure that they are providing the best customer service possible.
Okay. Have you ever hired employees, and if so, have they lived up to your expectations?
Yes. I used to work for a company called CPI Corp, and they were the Picture Me Portrait Studios in Walmart's. I was actually a district manager, so I would go from studio to studio, from here all the way to Nashville, and I would help train new employees and hire employees for that specific portrait studio. And one of the things that I made sure of was that the employee was up to standards and made sure that they were happy with their job.
Okay. What type of performance problems have you encountered in the people who report to you, and how did you motivate them to improve?
Performance problems. Most of the time, performance problems come from not feeling like you're appreciated. And I never went a day without making sure that all of my employees were appreciated. I wouldn't say there were many performance issues, just a couple employees that would call out, but they made up for their hard work in the company.
Okay. Describe a typical day at your present job.
After I clock in, I go to my area, which is center court and belt, and I go up to customers and ask them what they need and help them with any questions that they have. I help them at the register and sometimes even out to their vehicles.
Okay. What is a book you have read recently?
Does Dinosaur Under My Bed count? Actually, I just read that book to my son last night. I just reread a book called Along Came a Spider from James Patterson. I read it. It's such a great book. It's a psychological thriller, and it's really deals with the psychological aspect of the brain, and that's what I'm most interested in.
Okay. What do you see yourself doing 5 years from now?
Well, I'll be married, so 5 years, be married. And I would have hoped to have helped multiple families and hopefully working in a practice like this.
Okay. Well, do you have any other questions for me?
I do. I was wondering, what is your practice goal for this upcoming year?
Well, we are wanting to establish special needs in the practice. We're also doing a little bit of remodeling to open up that branch.
That's great. Well, I look really forward to that. That is so exciting. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's all the time that we have for today.
Okay. I hope to hear from you soon. It was such a pleasure meeting you,
Yes,
Miss
thank
Miller.
you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.